Podcast excellence since 2005. This is the King of Podcasts radio network, kingofpodcasts.com.
Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips are single-handedly taking down OnlyFans.
We are all a little depraved and debaucherous. Here is the King of Podcasts.
These two British blonde bombshells are just going to be the bane of my existence because we're talking about them again. Thank you for finding the program. Of course, wherever you find podcasts, of course, on the YouTube channel. Thank you for being on there. If you have any comments you want to make about tonight, please go ahead and make sure to go and drop them right there into the feed, into this particular episode. And looking back at past episodes, we've talked about these two. Also, make sure you go and subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts, make sure to go and do that. And on Apple and Spotify, please rate and review. Please rate and review. I really appreciate it. So this is a testament to what OnlyFans can do. And it's all about the fact that women that are on OnlyFans, do you understand? You are now going to be associated, if you're going to be on that site for the rest of your days, for as long as you're on it, people are only going to remember OnlyFans because of these two women, Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips. Is that what you want your reputation to go down for because of those two? Seriously? But we're at this point now. We made it. The latest has gone on right now with a number of things when it comes to Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips, to their own feud with each other. They're trying to kind of stir it up already, of course. And the fight over banging 1,000 guys within a short time span. So going back to this program and what we've talked about here, yeah, I'll tell you this. I know when I do this content, it does get numbers. I'm not denying that. People like this shit, so I do talk about it. If it's going to go ahead and bring people on board, look, I get it. And you know what? 1,000 downloads. Here's so many views. I mean, the last episode I did with Bonnie Blue, and I put up there in the headline, 1,057 men in 12 hours. Let me tell you, it just is blowing up. Like anything else I put on here, like is not even close to what it is, except for the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively stuff. We'll talk about that pretty soon because that's also another issue. But first of all, I go back to the first time I even brought these two up. First, it was Lily Phillips and the 1,000-man marathon. And the plan to go and do this. This was when she tried preliminary sex stunt with 100 guys and feeling horrible about it. Now, that episode was December 18th. And then we go and scroll forward 4 weeks later, and then Bonnie Blue attempts the record and says she had 1,057 men in 12 hours. So we get to that part. And now we're here 2 weeks later, and now we continue with the same trend here because a lot of things have happened with these two for various reasons. Some of it's timely because of what is going on right now in the world, and political things are also being a bit of a concern as well. So here we go. Bonnie Blue, speaking to the Irish Star, talked about she had horrifying fingerprint bruises after she slept with 1,057 men in 12 hours. So she talked about it.
I actually feel I was expecting to feel more sore. Like, if you do like a really hard workout, the next day you feel a bit sore. I have been working out occasionally. More like this though. I was expecting to wake up saying needing to take painkillers. The thing that feels the most sore is my legs. My legs here are I think they're like, but apart from that, like,
showing the
I'm
bruises.
around too.
And for whatever reason, OnlyFans has now banned any videos from what happened in that 1,000-man sex romp. How about that? Well, actually, there's part of it where Lily Phillips video as well. They've banned any videos from the event because it breaks rules the platform has in place. And the setup of the actual event, there were 5 cameras altogether. It was in a hall, and they were just using the one big room. The queue started from the bottom of the stairs, up a staircase, and ended into the room. 12 hours of footage were recorded, started at 1 p.m. and started going well into the night. So there's no content for anybody to go and watch. It was just the sex. But she can't post it anywhere. She's going to have to post it on the dark web or something like that to be able to get a chance to even do that. But she showed her marks, had no problem doing that. And what do we get out of this? I mean, the thing is, what was this for? Is she really into all this? And is this something that really feels like was important for her to do? And then we get more information about this because we get things about a particular feud now, because Radar R. Lion is now going on with the gossip, saying that there's an OnlyFans Orgy Queens war, a bitter feud with Lily Phillips going up against Bonnie Blue in this, as Lily Phillips cancels interviews because the sex stunt rivalry was being branded unhealthy. So let's go into that. Bonnie Blue pulled out of a major interview after Lily Phillips was given the spotlight first. Lily Phillips, triggered by the fiery accusations that Phillips swiped her 1,000 men's sex record idea. Adam 22 recently claimed that Bonnie Blue, age 25, canceled a scheduled appearance on his Plug Talk podcast after they interviewed Phillips shortly before her.
She's the one who did the documentary about her fucking 100 dudes in a row. Then right after that, we get hit up by Bonnie Blue's management because we were supposed to shoot with Bonnie Blue the next day. And we get informed that because we shot with Lily Phillips, now Bonnie Blue is pulling out and does not want to do porn with us. And she did the same thing to other adult podcasts in LA as well. So what I believe at first, I thought, holy shit, Lily originally had the idea for the 1,000 Guy Gangbang, and then Bonnie snaked her, went around her, and did the 1,000 Guy Gangbang first, which, keep in mind, these two chicks were doing gangbangs together. There's videos out there of them fucking 20 dudes together at the same time and shit. But then as we dig into it, Lena actually did the research, goes into the Twitter, starts looking at who posted about it first and everything, and we figure out that basically Bonnie Blue proposed the 1,000 Guy Gangbang before Lily Phillips, and then Lily Phillips, when she did her 100 Guy Gangbang, announced that she was going to do the 1,000 Guy Gangbang before Bonnie was really able to get much motion doing it. Now, the problem is, you go to the Pornhub rankings, Lily Phillips is like number 3 in the world right now. Bonnie Blue is like 184 or some shit. So it's like, you got to, I don't want to pit girls against each other or anything. They don't f- with each other right now. Lily Phillips got the star power, for sure. She's the better looking one. She's the one who everybody is paying attention to on more of a mainstream level right now. You see her posted about on Twitter nonstop. The gangbang beef in the porn world is probably almost worse than the gangbang beef in the actual gangbanging world.
Now, Adam 22 says a lot of things that are accurate. Yes, Lily Phillips is the bigger draw. She's the better looking woman of the two. I'm not dismissing either one of them, but I'm also not going to go and touch them even close. Who knows what kind of stuff you can catch. But just saying, when you look at what's going on here, and this could be all contrived. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Look, the thing is that we don't have, if it was 20 years ago, we would have, a reality show with these two and a whole conversation about it. But adult and porn, that's not even like a subject anymore. It's not anything that really matters because there's so much free stuff out there in the first place. But these two girls, the fact that they're both OnlyFans creators, OnlyFans doesn't want to even have anything to do with this because they're banning their documentary stuff. Like, of course, their content, they're going to be fine. But all this stuff with the gangbang stuff, no, they don't want anything to do with. They do not want to have anything to do with it at all. They want to just keep themselves out of it. But what was it about these two that, if it really is, I think this is all publicity stunt. But my thing is, I don't get what the need for this at all. And why was this an idea to try to foster popularity or fandom or fame? Like, really? What is that all for? Because that's the other thing I don't get is the angle of that. Porn right now is passe. It's not even that important. I mean, if you're talking about like you're trying to make money off the internet, there's still ways they're going to do it. And, there's still ways they're going to get traffic to it. Absolutely. Traffic to it, that's an easy thing. But what are you going to do to monetize it? And that's the thing that these two women have been doing with their betters to put together this content and being subjected to go ahead and just be banged by all these guys and whatever. It's like, come on. We already know the first part was Bonnie Blue's record. That sounds impossible to have been done. No way it could have been done in that little bit of time. 40 seconds or so for every guy. And she says she had a 4-minute break and a couple of different other things. No, I don't believe it at all. Not even close. And the fact that Lily Phillips wanted to do this and was probably the most vocal. But the thing was is that when people started hearing that she wanted to do it, that was the first thing everybody was looking at and thinking about. But now we're at this point where they both, maybe this is some contrived thing that's being done right now. I feel like it is. But we know that for whatever reason, she wants to still set things up. 1,000 men in one day. And she's begging women to go and offer up their husbands and boyfriends to boost her world record attempt. So she could still do it and try to break the record that supposedly Bonnie Blue broke. And then she also made mention of that she has to work up to it, and she had scheduled for March 2nd a 300-guy gangbang. She says, quote, "But because what's the point of going just straight to the 1,000 if you're not going to profit off of it? You do 300, 500, and 1,000. It just makes a little more sense." Radar Online reported earlier this month that Phillips is going to recruit armed service personnel for her next shock group sex tape and working with a former UK Royal Navy seaman on this plan. But now here's the thing. She's been operating quite a bit in the United States. And apparently, U.S. Border Security reached out to her, threatening to permanently ban Lily Phillips from the U.S. if she tries to bang 1,000 guys in under 24 hours. TMZ makes a report on this. Let's take it from them. And I'll play the clip that is on here talking about this from TMZ, courtesy to them. Here we go.
Well, I was meant to do it here, and then so we've had to kind of postpone that because obviously I got stopped at the border, and they were like, "You're here to fuck 1,000 guys." I was like, "Yes," and they were like, "Right, you can't be doing that here." I got stopped at the border, and they were basically like, "You know, you can't be fucking 1,000 guys here," because I guess it's technically classed as work, like. But it's funny, really. Like, they stopped me at the border, and that's what they said. And so I said, okay, I won't do it here. I think it's probably because I use my real name is the same as my stage name, and that's probably how they figured that out. Like, they must have rather just, like, seen... Because they were like, oh, you've been going viral in the media lately, and we know you're here to fuck 1,000 guys. So I was like, yeah. And they were like, yeah, you're not doing that here. Because I'm a sex worker. Like, they just don't like it. They're basically asking if I'm a prostitute or not.
Now, I mean, essentially she is. But it's the idea of trying to go and reach fame and fortune off of doing this. And what that means for either one of them to be able to do this in the first place. So a lot of people are taking advantage of the fact that they're also monetizing and getting a lot of publicity off of this. So TMZ reported that Lily Phillips got detained at the Las Vegas airport, Karen, last week after authorities recognized her and straight up told her if she ever went through her work, or ahead with her work, she would never set foot on U.S. soil again. And she was in town for the AVN Adult Video Awards, right? And she did plan to pull off the stunt to coincide with the event, but she had to go and postpone or reschedule. All I know is that when I look at this, it's just sad and it's depressing. But I really want to understand if women out there that have considered OnlyFans, or you know someone that has been on OnlyFans, what they think about what this is right here. The feedback of this overall. Because does this feel like a good thing to have? I mean, OnlyFans from afar, sure, maybe they're not worried about too much about what they're going to be able to make off of this. But I think there's something about the fact that OnlyFans does get a lot of publicity. Remember when we talk about this, okay? There's so much about it on a regular basis. And we hear so much tragedy from this. Huffington Post talking about a 57-year-old mom becoming one of the most popular models on OnlyFans. A 23-year-old Brazilian OnlyFans model falling to her death from a balcony while performing a threesome. It's all this shit right now. And the thing is that even when you do a search for OnlyFans right now, Lily Phillips comes up third in the whole setup on Google, if you're looking for it. And then you see news about OnlyFans, and then it's all about Bonnie Blue. But we also know that this is also trying to go and create more controversy. And more women are trying to go ahead and follow along the trend of Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips in the same way. Turkish authorities arrested OnlyFans model Ezra Van Dan when she announced her controversial plan to set a record by sleeping with 100 men in one day. This is becoming a thing. Like, for what? Now, her name is Azranur AV, and she was charged with obscenity, resisting an officer on duty, and slander, according to a report by the New York Post. She was going to break the Turkish record and then the world record. A 23-year-old. Her plans have faced obstacles due in Turkey, banning the OnlyFans platform. Oh boy, platform in 2023. Her post, shared with her 231,000 followers, was flagged by the Istanbul Public Security Branch Directorate's Morality Bureau, labeling her plans as obscene and damaging to national morale. She was tracked down while she was undergoing a cosmetic surgery operation, and during the arrest, police also detained her 25-year-old Iranian husband, who was later released. So now we're seeing a trend go along, and other women deciding to go ahead and follow suit and do something similar. They want to try this here. We all know this is something that everybody's all getting upset about when it comes to OnlyFans and, the people that are going on here, and there is a backlash to it. There's quite a backlash. And the rivalry now, if you got your old tabloid magazines, your Weekly World News, and your National Enquirers, they would be all over this, eating this all up. And of course, TMZ's on this. But there's a lot more to it. There was a ladies' European golf tour pro that joined OnlyFans, and I believe what happened was her husband's leaving her because of that. And this is part of a bigger problem as well. I take a story from the Times of India that talks about how OnlyFans and some other platforms are pulling youth into a risky digital trade. So there are other platforms like this, not just OnlyFans. There's Fansly, ManyVids, and Just for Fans as lucrative avenues for struggling individuals. Was a monetization tool for general content creators, is now a billion-dollar industry dominated by adult content. Because this is where porn is today. Porn is not the way you remember it presented before. We now have amateurs going into this and be able to go ahead and post their content, produce it, edit it, everything. Get CapCut, go get a nice camera, and do the content themselves. But you're getting amateur content. The demand for professional content is dead. Very dead. And the only way that you are able to get yourself a little bit more focused and a little bit more expansive and more popular is the more outrageous shit you do. So we know that a lot of this really spurned off from COVID. We all talked about that. When I started When I'm Not Podcasting in 2019, I think it was, and then we were in the middle of COVID, I did so many episodes about the adult content and about OnlyFans itself. And of course, that kind of content led to the Depraved and Debaucherous, which it is today. According to Social Rise, the average OnlyFans content creator earns about $180 a month, far from the life-changing sums that social media influencers often promote. The financial illusion has led to an explosion of similar platforms like OnlyFans, and elite athletes and other high-profile endorsements are normalizing the platforms as viable career choices. Well, that's one thing. But now we have these two women on here that are just blowing everything up. And I think that's the other thing we got to figure out. It would be one thing if everybody just wants to go, okay, if the women are going to want to be the prey of the debauchery, that's one thing. But to encourage this kind of behavior, gangbang behavior, is wrong. It's not worth the money. It's not worth the emotional toll. It's not worth the health risk. All that doesn't make any sense. And then this story also talks about the mental health toll on content creators. While financial success is heavily marketed, the mental health implications of engaging in digital adult content creation are less discussed. A recent Forbes report highlights the psychological strain experienced by creators, including anxiety, depression, and the loss of privacy. Many face burnout due to the pressure of constant content production, with some reporting deep emotional stress from online harassment and objectification. And also, these platforms are shaping the aspirations of young individuals. The pandemic made youth more vulnerable to risky online sexual trade. It just opened everything up. We should have known about this, but that's what happened. And the omnipresence of OnlyFans and other similar platforms cannot be ignored. Influencers often leverage platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter to promote their content. Yeah, they're the gateway to this content as well. Remember that too. Let me tell you another place that's really bad about that. Threads by Instagram. It's all thirst traps I have on my feed. Instagram, just as bad. Because it's more video than it is anything else. And we're starting to see it more and more. And it's bad. It's like, how many women are going to be out there to go and do the same thing? There's an academic study that came out last year, OnlyFans and the platformization of sex work, that underscored how these platforms are evolving into mainstream income sources, but the rapid platformization raises ethical and legal concerns about the regulation of content and the increasing recruitment of young individuals into digital sex work. Well, you know what? When porn was kind of like taken down and made unavailable for various reasons, of course, a justified reason because of child sex trafficking and for underage content, understand that part. You got to be of age, got to be of consent to even do this kind of stuff. But it's also the encouragement of amateurs thinking it's so easy to go and do, to try it and not make any money on it, but just try to do anything, use your body, see if that can happen. It's, first of all, it's lazy, number one. Number two, it's not sustainable. And number three, you ruin your reputation. You ruin who you are as a person. Your morals just go out the door. If it doesn't matter to you, that's fine, but that's what's going on here. But we know what can happen here in these situations for Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips. What's the fact that they're going to might say, they might be OnlyFans creators now, but then a couple of years later, they go ahead and they turn religious. They get saved by Christianity. It's those kind of things. Like, what's the next thing that's going to keep them popular? At some point, their youth and their beauty is going to fade. And then what are they going to become? What will they be? What are they going to be? Sika? They're going to be Nina Hartley? Come on. That's the part that nobody's even thinking about the here and now, and who knows if they even think about the here and now or what the future holds for them and what other women that might fall up with them. Because you know what? Remember, how many young women look like Bonnie or Lily? Young, beautiful, blonde, and just say, oh, you know what? I like the idea. And if they feel like I look like her, I can look like her, and they'll try to do the same thing. And the biggest thing we got to say about it is that both women are very attractive. So it makes it very much easy for people like me, virile, red-blooded guys, to follow along and casually just look at what's going on here, right? Young, beautiful women in amazing shape, they're models. The thing is, too, is that it's also going to be considered like this. That if they wanted to, if it would have been something that still could be a career, like modeling still can be a career in some cases, but the problem is how much is out there to be made in modeling now, like there used to be. And that's one of the things they probably also be a detriment by. And also they want to be in careers. They want to just be privileged. So they're using their bodies for what they want and how they can get as far as they want to go and go. That's what they want to do as well. Oh, well. There's a couple of things I want to go and bring up before we wrap things up for the night. A couple of sugar daddy things I saw. There's one, and I'm probably going to go ahead and table this for next week, but there was a story that came out about, am I a sugar daddy? How to date men with less money. And I'm going to probably table that for next week, depending on what goes on, but I'll probably get back to that. I will table this for next week, but it looked very interesting, and I think there's a lot to be said about this and the advice is given on here, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that probably for next week. Given there's nothing else with Lily and Bonnie that come back up, that has to come back in ether, or something else that comes up in that comes into place that's truly depraved and debaucherous, and I have to go and hold off on that and wait. So we'll wait on that and give it a little bit. But what I will talk about this, a study from Malaysia, that Malaysia is ranked third in Asia for the highest number of sugar daddies in the country. And SeeAsia.stats put a study on that was set up by Seeking Arrangement about the Asian countries with the most sugar daddies. So women, keep an eye on this. Listen to this. Malaysia ranks third with the most sugar daddies in their country. Japan is fourth place. India has the largest concentration of sugar daddies. Second place is Indonesia. Very interesting story. So for guys, if women are looking for guys they want to go and find in Asia, India is number one. Which, of course, in India, there's very much a strict standard, a very cultural issue where things are kind of like backwards over there, okay? You know, morals and sanctimony of marriage and relationships are very much in play to say, okay, the issue there is that there's not a lot of depravity or debauchery in India. So the guys are willing to go ahead and put the money out there, pay for play, hopefully to find women they can find. And they'll go outside of India to go and seek that. Or they can find what they can among the billion people that are there in India to see what they can find. So as I said, then you have Indonesia at number 2. These are also, tourist attractions, right? Malaysia 3rd. Japan 4th. And among the other countries they had here, Hong Kong is 5th, Taiwan 6th, Cambodia is at the bottom of the list, has the few sugar daddies of any of Asia, but Vietnam is 7th, South Korea 8th, Sri Lanka is 9th. And one of the story I saw was on the psychology front from Forbes. 3 ways to use the imagination effect to boost love by psychologists. So the imagination effect refers to how many imagining scenarios or specific outcomes can enhance understanding, creativity, and problem solving in life. Mentally stimulating possibilities. Couples can uncover new insights and perspectives that might otherwise remain hidden. So reading a book is an exercise stepping into the lives of others and viewing the world through a lens from your own to help your imagination. And that this effect allows partners to approach challenges with greater empathy, envision possibilities beyond their immediate reality, and find creative solutions to conflicts. And the 3 ways it can help using this imagination effect is imagining yourself in your partner's shoes. Number 2, imagining positive outcomes and conflicts. Number 3, imagining novelty and taking risks together. So think about it like this. You want to take it from the depraved and debaucherous front? Okay. Yeah, imagine yourself in your partner's shoes. Are they going to be into... This is where, the whole excitement in the bedroom thing always comes up. What do you do to kind of change things up? It's what they're kind of saying here with the imagination effect. And then they're talking about positive outcomes and conflicts. Well, the one thing is you hopefully have makeup sex at the end of it, right? That's the other part that could be considered in this whole thing. But then finally we have what is the idea of imagining novelty and taking risks together, which is where some men and women might think about, well, let's go over to Hustler Hollywood. Let's go ahead and try some different things. Like, we could try some toys. We could try some lotions. We could try some lube, whatever. We could try some different positions, some role play, costumes, whatever. Maybe that's what they mean by novelty, right? You never know. Anyway, please don't beat Bonnie or Lily. I mean, I know they're beautiful. I know that women might look up to them in some way, shape, or form, not really understand what they're doing. But they're still, at the end of the day, gangbanging and extremely depraved and debaucherous.